Hi, this is Stafford back. Yeah, I was planning on doing a video about Afghanistan, and I'm just really into history. I've always had a keen interest in history, and I really like to analyze things and say, well, how could this be done differently? How could this be done differently? But the pestering nature of American politics just caught my attention, and I just had to say a few things about it. And American politics has become a complete rat fornication. It really has. You can't look at it any other way. This is just ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. You have on one hand, the Republicans, you know, who can't produce anybody better than Donald Trump apparently, even though there's so many better choices out there. That's who they choose. Then you got the Democrats who have old Sleepy Joe, and you know, it's talk about choosing between a douche and a turd. And this is who we've ended up with is Joe Biden, and at least he's not maybe such an asshole as Trump, but this whole platform that they've run on has completely divided America. And Trump too. If Trump really cared about America, what he would have done is he would have stepped down from the race and said, look, I understand, I want what's best for this country, but this is a contentious situation. I am a extremely, what's the word I'm searching for? The word I'm searching for is, I'm usually pretty good with this. Um, Trump is such a, he, I can't believe it. He's such a controversial person. There's no other better way to say that. He's so controversial that whether he's right or wrong, he never had a hope of winning this election. They demonized him far too much, and Trump does have a lot of flaws. His Middle East policy sucks, and that's why I just can't support the man because of his abandonment of the Kurdish people, his plans to abandon the Iraqi people as a whole yet again. We know how that all worked out last time, huh? His plans to try to abandon and wash his hands of Afghanistan. It was awful. And then his Muslim travel ban and all of his ignorant crap that really just plays into the hands of the, leftist fanatics. I wouldn't be surprised if they're bedfellows and they are best buds, because everything Trump does plays into the hands of these people. He pisses people off too much. I mean, yeah, it's good to speak your mind to a point, but you need to have a freaking filter when you're the leader of the free world. And that's exactly what I think cost him the election. I think what cost him the election was the fact that he doesn't know when to shut up. He doesn't know what not to say. There's certain things you just can't say, especially if you're the leader of the free world. Having said that, I'm completely against cancel culture and all that crap. I'm not all about that. But what I'm saying is there's certain things you have to be a refined, respectful, eloquent person to lead this country. Something that, Obama understood, that Bush understood, Junior and Senior, Clinton, every president that I can think of. Even Bill Clinton, yeah, at least had the common sense to not say some of the things that Trump has said that just, you're like, what? What are you talking about, man? The Muslim travel ban, completely prejudiced and stupid, and his complete embrace of Israel, no help for the Palestinians, his so-called historic UAE peace deal. That's not historic at all. All that means is that the Palestinians are now more separated from any kind of help. His reluctance to pursue a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. But anyway, enough about Trump. Now I'm going to start focusing on the Democrats. The Democrats, they're just as bad. They're just as bad. Democrats are no better than Republicans, and anybody who thinks they are, anyone who thinks that Republicans are any better than Democrats, and anyone who thinks that Democrats are any better than Republicans, I'm not going to call you an idiot, but what I am going to say is that you are buying into one narrative or another, and they're both false narratives. And the Democrats have as do the Republicans, Democrats and Republicans have a divide and conquer strategy. It's one of the oldest strategies in time. Do you think it's a coincidence that this virus got so? It's a health problem, right? So why does it have to become a political problem? It shouldn't. It's not a political thing. It's a health thing. Trump's ability to handle the virus is irrelevant. He's not God. He can't. Only God can. Only Allah can say, "Hey, look, you virus, you go away." Trump can do what he can do, but we were faced with a unprecedented situation in modern times anyway. Of this magnitude anyway. But the Democrats didn't do anything better. I mean, Trump didn't do things really that well. He opened the door for it to be politicized, and Democrats jumped right on it. And now instead of us focusing on getting people healthy, we're focusing on fighting with each other over the political aspects of this that should not even exist. There should be no political aspects of this. This should be a bipartisan thing. We got to get this disease treated. We got to get it figured out so we can save lives and we can go back to living our lives. And there just doesn't seem to be much interest in that. And it just seems to be tit for tat BS. So anyway, back to the Democrats. These leftist ideas, they're never happy. And I guess neither are Republicans. I guess the Republicans are the dirt, or the turds, and the Democrats are the douches. But this whole defund the police crap. Now listen, I am no big fan of the police. Okay, I mean, I don't hate the police. I was in the military. I have a respect for anybody who can put their life on the line for other people. But what I'm saying is that I don't enjoy getting pulled over. I don't think anybody does. Being lighter skinned does not help me at all in a traffic stop. I'm still a poor guy, So a traffic stop is not a pleasant experience for anybody. They're still trying to search my car when they pull me over and stuff like that. And it still is they don't really treat me with a whole lot of respect, but the problem is rich and poor, not black and white. I mean, yes, there's racism in this country. It's definitely in this country, and it's awful. Racism's terrible. But racism, you got to be careful when you're talking about racism, because that race is one of the dividing factors of people, but only if you let it be. If you don't let race divide you, valuable lesson I learned in the Army was that, I served with people of all races. And we didn't talk about race. We didn't care about race. We just were friends that served together, and race was an afterthought, if at anything at all. I didn't think, hey, look, oh, hi, oh, I'm going to meet this person. Oh, Sergeant so-and-so. Oh, he's black. No, I don't think that. I thought, oh, this is Sergeant so-and-so. He's my squad leader. He's my, he's the new armorer for the company. I'm gonna, or he's the new supply sergeant. I'm gonna respect him, because he's a human being, because he has a higher rank than me. I don't think, oh, he's black. It doesn't even enter my mind. I don't understand why it enters anyone's mind. Race is irrelevant. We don't need to give extra anything to anyone of any race, because that's racist. Every race is just as capable of any other race to take care of their own shit. So anyway, it's a divide and conquer tactic. The Democrats, they take race, they take gender, they take sexual orientation, they take all this stuff, and then they use it to divide people up into neat little boxes, right? So that these people can then be more easily manipulated. Oh, you fall into this category. That means that, the Republicans, they hate you. And the Republicans, let's get real. They don't care about any of us that are not wealthy. If you're not wealthy, they don't give a shit about you. But the Democrats don't give a shit about you either. That's the thing. So what's the solution to all this? Because literally, we've had a complete asshole in office for 4 years straight. And now we have this feeble, senile old man who may be a decent guy at heart, but he is not up for the job. I mean, that guy is just, I hope he succeeds, because you should always want your president to succeed. But at the very least, he's going to be a very unremarkable president. And I don't say that because of his character. I say that because he's just he's too old. He's too tired. He needs a nap is what he needs, and not the free world at his fingertips. But having said that, he is the president now, and I guess we're just going to have to deal with it for the duration and hope that our next president is hopefully different, but I doubt it. And the reason I doubt it is because of the Democrats and the Republicans, because this two-party system, it's so unfair. And even within those two parties, if anybody has any differing ideas that go against the grain of their own party, say they agree with most of what, say they're a Republican, they agree with most of what the Republicans say, but they agree with a few of these Democrat points that, really are contested by Republicans, and they are like, well, yeah, I'm a Republican for the most part, but I see their point here, and maybe they're right about these things. Their career is over. They're not going to get elected. The Democrats are going to put you front and center, or the Republicans are going to put you front and center. It's because you embrace all of their ideas. Even if some of them half-heartedly, but you at least have to endorse their ideas. You can't get in there and I don't know. You just can't get in there as a Republican and start talking about the serious issue of climate change. You can't get in there as a Republican and talk about say a number of these issues and continue to run for public office as a Republican. It's just not going to work that way. Now, as a Democrat, it's the same way. You can't be a Democrat, have any kind of success, and race is not the main issue. We are all human beings. The main issue is that we as a people need to stop dividing our citizens into all these different groups. We should be uniting our citizens, not dividing our citizens. Any citizen that thinks that it is a good idea to allow themselves to be divided by race, gender, ethnicity, religion, whatever it is, and essentially segregated from the rest of the population and treated differently. Anyone who allows that to happen to themselves is allowing something terrible to be done to them. And what they need to know is that they're part of the team. We are all part of the team. It's up to all of us to make sure that this country works. And if we don't all put in 100%, it's not going to work. And we need to keep putting in 100%. We need a new party. That's what we need. We need a new party. That's the main thing I'm getting at here. We need a party that represents what the people want. And no, this is not a fascist or communist idea. I'm against both. Communism is evil, fascism is evil. We need a new party that has the ability to get things done. Not just a party on paper, like so many parties that will never have any kind of success because the Democrats and Republicans are too powerful. But we need a party that is going to attract people from both sides. They're going to say, hey, we agree with this. This makes sense. Because deep down, hardly anybody deep down really agrees with everything that both sides are spewing. What they just feel is that, well, I agree with most of their stuff, and the things I don't agree with, I can try to ignore and work around. But the problem is that the more you do that, the more things that you don't agree with, the more things our people agree to that they don't really want that come to pass, the more that our freedom is diminished. So, anyway, that's all I had to say, is that I just had to say something about American politics because this is driving me up the wall. This is the obvious answer. Democrats suck. Republicans suck. They are both the same. They probably hang out together and giggle about how easily they fool the people or think they fool the people. But really what we need is we need a new party. We need a new party that's going to serve the interests of the people of the United States of America. It's going to serve the interests of doing right in the world. And that is what we need. Strong leadership, lead from the front. Anyway, just figured I'd talk about that. And any comments, if there is any comments, just I guess let me know if you think there should be a new political party that has the ability to perhaps produce a presidential candidate that is taken seriously someday. Do you think that the two-party system works? Do you think it doesn't work? I'm just kind of wondering what people really think about this when they think about it. Because as soon as I started thinking about it, I realized that as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't work. But if you disagree with that, let me know. If you agree with that, let me know too, because I'm curious to see what people think. Anyway, have a great day. Till next time.